Speaking of, Ron Artest, right? Meta World Peace, Panda's friend. I saw some clips, or I saw some stuff about him on the All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Steve Jackson, and they were talking about the Malice to Palace stuff, and some basketball lore. For those of you who weren't from that era, so I remember that era very clearly, right? Because that was the era of me growing up and stuff like that. The NBA was basically looked at as, kind of a thuggish league, that gangster, energy personas, leadered by Allen Iverson, right? Allen Iverson was the guy when it comes to fashion, what he's wearing. He was wearing the baggy pants, baggy clothes, do-rags, tattoos, cornrows, all that stuff. That was all with the fashion influence of Allen Iverson, one of the most popular NBA players, right? Everyone was wearing, whatever they wanted. It went from, the clean-cut suits of the 90s and the 80s and all that stuff, what they used to wear, to, basically, more kind of casual kind of, look, right? And, Allen Iverson, he always wore his, heart on his sleeve. And he always showed who he was and where he came from, basically, right? So, a lot of things changed after Malice to the Palace, dude. Like, you wouldn't believe, like, the sheer, fast response. First of all, the context. Let's go back to the Indiana and, the Pistons and what they did. Those players, those teams do not like each other, right? Like, they played each other in the playoffs, right? In the regular season. Those dudes were getting into fights. I remember, Jermaine O'Neal, he punched Ben Wallace.
And dunk again, so he fouls him hard, and Williamson slams the ball off O'Neal in anger. O'Neal lands a punch on Ben Wallace and then one on Curry. And look, Tree Rollins came in to break it up. Luckily, no one got bitten. Watch what happened again. O'Neal doesn't even go for the ball, and Williamson just throws it off of him. Both players ejected from the game. Oh, yeah, there was a game. Pistons won that 96-77.
In one game, and I believe he got suspended, right? This dude got into it with some guy named like Corliss Williamson, and I guess Corliss Williamson threw a ball at Jermaine O'Neal, and Jermaine O'Neal took offense to it, so he like pushed him. And then once Ben Wallace got into the fray of trying to separate him, Jermaine O'Neal basically sucker punched Ben Wallace. It didn't look like Ben Wallace was effective, but Ben Wallace is strong as fuck, man. Like he should be in the Hall of Fame already, but I don't know why he's not in the Hall of Fame, but whatever. That's another story. But, it was an outright, issue. And then you fast forward to, the next season, right? Where they play against each other and, they insert freaking Ron Artest into that Pacers team. That Pacers team is probably the best Pacers team ever assembled, right? Because you got Jermaine O'Neal as an MVP candidate. Reggie was still on his last legs, but he was still, the guy. You have Ron Artest that was implemented in the Pacers, and he basically won Defensive Player of the Year last year on the Kings, I believe. Right? Yeah, Steve Jackson, who was coming off fresh from the Spurs as a champion. And, there's other players on that team as well that I must be missing. I think Mark Jackson was also on that team, but it was basically Reggie's last chance to win a ring, finally. And they had the team to do it because that team was good. So, for everyone who doesn't know who Ron Artest is, people know this guy as, you know, the guy from the Lakers and stuff like that. Yeah, he's all smiles, you know, making jokes and stuff like that. You know, I'm all about world peace, you know, meta world peace, Panda's friend and all that stuff. Like, it's all memes and stuff like that, right? I'm here to tell you, dude, for those of the guys who remember him, who's drafted on the Bulls and stuff like that, who bounced around the league, this dude's a fucking psycho. Like, Ron Artest is, like, mentally unstable, dude. He was a great defender, one of the best defenders of the 2000s era, right? Like, this dude is a lockdown defender on the perimeter. But this dude is, like, unstable as hell. Like, you don't even know what this guy is capable of doing. Like that's the reputation of what, you know, Ron Artest got done, right? He's just unpredictable. He got some anger issues and stuff like that. And there's just incidents where he does, like, stupid stuff, where he just does stupid stuff whatsoever. And you think to yourself, like, damn, dude, like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? Right? I mean, this dude broke, you know, Michael Jordan's ribs, because Michael Jordan was washing him, right, basically. And, like, he broke his ribs. He freaking elbowed James Harden in the head, from what I remember, right? I remember this dude almost choked someone in the league, right? He always does that headbutt shit. I remember him trying to headbutt Kobe Bryant and stuff like that, and when it was the Lakers, it was the Rockets, right? I mean, this dude's unstable as hell, right? I mean, this dude needs, like, medication to calm down. If I remember correctly, this dude literally needed, like, he was going to a psychiatrist to work out his anger issues, and was taking medicine. So all in all, Ron Artest is a ticking time bomb, right? So now you go to the Malice of the Palace, right? Where the Pacers and the Detroit Pistons, they fucking hate each other, right? Now, the Pacers won that game. Like, if I remember correctly, they're beating them. And Ron Artest basically fouls Ben Wallace on the last possession.
Intelligent game tonight. Ben Wallace is fouled, and Wallace did. Wallace right at Artest.
Right? And, you know, Ben didn't like that shit. So basically, he went up to Ron Artest now. And if I had money to bet, right, in a fight between those two, I'm easily picking Ben Wallace. This dude will fuck anyone up, right? So he basically big boyed Ron Artest, backed him up all the way to the stands, right? And it was getting hectic. So all of a sudden, you know, there's some issues where, you know, they're getting pulled back. You know, Ron Artest basically, like, you know, goes to the stands and just, like, sits there, right? He just lays there, and it was just all chaos just happening. All of a sudden, you got a fan throwing beer at him. You know, he gets up, goes to the stand.
Bench to go. Now Artest has jumped over the scorer's table and is trying to get down to the bench. Artest is in the stands.
Or he doesn't go to the stand. He looks back, and basically he punches the wrong fan, right? And you know, I thought to myself, like, yo, this is fucking wild, dude. Like, I've never seen this happen, right? You got Steven Jackson going to the stands and, like, punching the guy or something. I don't know. Like, there's a bunch of players running to the audience to fuck, you know, whoever up, right? Ron Artest fucks up the guy who he thought threw the freaking beer at him, right? And, you know, you gotta be thinking, like, dude, as a fan, like, why the fuck would you actually try to, you know, why would you try to fight, you know, an NBA player? It doesn't even make sense.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching out-of-shape civilians get the shit kicked out of them by professional athletes. It was fascinating. And I think as sports fans, we kind of had it coming, right?
Like, you gotta be thinking, like, dude, these guys are, like, you know, professional athletes, right? Like, 200, like, plus pounds of, like, muscle and stuff like that. You know, over 6 foot. Like, why the fuck would you, you know, actually attempt that? Right? So it was just chaos whatsoever. You know, jerseys getting pulled, all that stuff like that. It was wild, right? You know, Ron Artest is like suspended for like, I think he got suspended for like 30 games or the rest of the season, something like that. Yeah, he got suspended for the rest of the season, right? A bunch of players got suspended. Ben Wallace got suspended for like 9 games or something like that. And it was over for, you know, Reggie's, you know, championship aspirations, right? Because, dude, like, you know, your main guys are gone. And, you know, even Ron Artest basically says, you know, I kind of regret that because, you know, I wanted to win for Reggie and, you know, that incident happened. So it was all that. And right when that thing happened, like, dude, like that was one of the most chaotic, you know, experiences from sports in general. And I mean, not just basketball, sports in general. Like, right, just fighting the audience. You know, you're like, and this just was going on TV too. So Dave Stern basically, you know, pulls the hammer down all this shit, right? You know, no more, you know, this kind of, you know, urban, you know, styles and stuff like that. We're gonna put some, you know, requirements in terms of how to wear, you know, how to dress and stuff like that. You know, media engagement. Like you get suspended for the weakest things now. Like he put the hammer down and, you know, on everything because he had to clean up the image for the league, right? So a lot of the stuff that you see now, all these weak ass fouls today and these flagrants and stuff like that, and how the league became soft, it's because of the Malice of the Palace. They do not want another incident of that caliber ever happening again. Like why do you think the NBA is so friendly when it comes to, you know, advertisement, you know, sponsorships and all that, and commercials and all that stuff like that? It's because of the image they cleaned up, because they wanted to, you know, get out from, you know, they just want to push, you know, that experience from the past, right? Like don't even bring that up ever again. Basically, that's what the NBA wants, you know, you to see, right? So, you know, you get thrown out for the stupidest stuff now, for the flagrant fouls and stuff like that. You know, like, you know, double technicals are so stupid. Like that's basically why, right? Like, you know, one player pushes the other player and the player doesn't do anything. You know, double technical foul for both of you. Don't do that shit ever again, right? That's basically what the outcome is from what David Stern was doing, right? He needed to clean up everything. Now, David Stern has his issues, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, but he actually did pretty good when it comes to that, because now the NBA is, you know, makes so much money, you know, so much guaranteed money as well from their players. Like even the role players are getting multiple millions of dollars now. Like he cleaned the league to the point where the amount of revenue generated for the NBA today is like astronomical, right? So, you know, now, you know, with Adam Silver, he's kind of leaning towards like, yeah, you can dress whatever the fuck you want now. Like, no need for the, you know, suit and tie stuff like that. It's we're gonna loosen up those kind of rules, right? Basically, because, you know, it's kind of, you know, they want a more friendly, you know, family environment kind of stuff, right? More casual, where they're slowly testing the waters and bringing it back. But dude, the Malice of the Palace was fucking wild, dude. I'm just remembering it, everyone talking about it back then. Like, yo, you see that? Did you see that? Did you just watch freaking Ron Artest, you know, fuck up, you know, these attending fucking customers, like, in the audience? Like, did you see that, man? It was the talk of the town for a long time, right? And then, you know, it gets forgotten in the you know, upcoming years, until later on people say, hey, this is the anniversary of this is the anniversary of that. And you know, dude, Ron Artest is a wild man, dude. You gotta be thinking to yourself, bro, like, for you to try to fight him, you're fucking stupid, basically, right? But, you know, Malice of the Palace, dude, bro, that shit forever changed. You know, basketball, dude. Like just remembering, dude, that shit's crazy, bro. Just going back now, like, dude, that was like that will go down in history as just one of the wildest things like you can ever watch on TV, bro, live. That was the weirdest. That was so weird, too, because you've never seen anything like that, dude. Like people going to the stands, like the amount of chaos that was going on and stuff like that. Bro, that shit was wild, dude. Yeah.